Our favorite
yes, here
race.
we go.
Our
Here we
favorite
go.
race of the whole. Not the whole
Happy
season.
Saitama to all who celebrate.
Our favorite race of this week.
This week.
That wasn't
Of every
cyclocross.
week until January.
Yeah. The Saitama Criterium. Welcome back to Spin Cycle Podcast, everybody. I'm Kaylee Fretz. Today on the show, Premier Tech departs Israel Premier Tech. Sport director, musical chairs, and somebody stole a giant inflatable beer. Allegedly. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the show, Kit Nicholson. We missed you on Friday.
Oh, that's nice, because I'm never here on Fridays. So
I know. We miss you every Friday.
I was
Every
quite
Friday.
sad to miss Friday because I wanted to gloat about my Victor Lafay prediction. But
Yeah. We
yeah.
gloated for you a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's not much of a reach, but I was giving myself a pat on the back.
And Johnny Long, welcome to the show.
Hello, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Should we get straight into it? So, of course, as is generally the case, major news dropping shortly after we recorded last week's episode. This isn't really that surprising, sort of scheduling-wise, because if you're going to drop news that you kind of want to go away quickly, you do it on Friday afternoon, which tends to be right after we've recorded that episode. And this particular instance, the news that dropped was that Premier Tech, the agricultural, mechanical,
Yes, and machinery and equipment.
machinery and
I looked at it.
equipment.
I looked it up today.
Yep. Had to look it up. You know, that's an effective sponsorship.
Well, you say
So-
that, but we did have somebody comment saying that they were the last sponsor that they actually were aware of. This was coming from a Canadian, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you're,
so that's
you're zooming
quite-
ahead, Kit,
Oh, I'm
to
so
the run
sorry.
sheet. You're...
I think a little bit of organic conversation is important for a podcast, Jonathan.
No, I send the scripts out Monday morning, and everyone has a few hours to learn their lines.
Oh, it's like
That's how it works.
Saitama Criterium, which I'm jumping
Yeah.
ahead again. So
Exactly, yeah, especially in the off season.
Bring it back
Anyway.
in. Bring it back in. So, Premier Tech, which makes
something.
agricultural mechanic things, equipment.
Increase
and
your
things.
they will increase your yield in in a farming way, not a finance way.
Whomst
Which is
among
good.
us does not want our yield increased? So they are out from the team. They released a statement on Friday that called future sponsorship of Israel Premier Tech. What do we call it now? Just Israel? Question
No,
mark?
not
Question
even.
mark?
No, we'll get to that as well.
We'll get to
I
that
have
later.
read the script, Johnny.
So
Guys,
the future sponsorship of Sylvan Adams' World Tour team. They described this as untenable was the word that they used, which is not super surprising if you are sort of considering the way that a sponsor looks at marketing opportunities these days. It is not, ad safe. It is not a place that you're going to go without any controversy, right? And so, yeah, not super surprising that we've seen this. It did appear to, if not surprise the team itself. The team itself hadn't apparently had any actual communication from Premier Tech on this, because we got an internal message that was sent by the team's GM out to the entirety of the riders and staff that basically said, the reason we didn't tell you is because they didn't tell us. So a bit of interesting, I don't know, behind the scenes sponsor movement going on there. What does it mean for the team, though? Is it going to continue?
yes, I think Sylvan Adams is expected to
Pony up more
continue
cash.
funding the whole thing. It hasn't stopped riders wanting out.
Funnily enough.
Apparently their riders are still trying to sort of extricate them from the mess they have, admittedly, a lot of times put themselves in.
Yeah.
So sadly, maybe controversially, limited sympathy there. But the slight sort of whispers we're starting to hear is that the new name will be, or the new branding, because they're not going to do any Israel branding, is going to be around Sylvan Adams and Israel Premier Tech's other projects in Rwanda. The Field of Dreams, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that will prove less controversial in the sense that nothing likes to touch paper like Israel-Palestine.
Yep.
But if it's still Sylvan Adams' money, I'm struggling to see how just putting in a slightly controversial sponsor will quell some of the rage. Maybe it'll quell some of it, but not all of it. And weird, another thing that came out, which I'd never seen before, I don't think we've discussed, is Sylvan Adams in an interview on like TV News talking about actually buying supplies for Israeli army units. So I think if some of this stuff hadn't happened in terms of Israel disappearing from the team branding and Premier Tech stepping aside and this team now just floating around somewhere, I think then it would have just dragged into next season and it would have all come apart.
That's the thing, is that they're angling for a world tour. Well, they are justified in their qualification for a world tour license. However, the deadlines are coming thick and fast. The UCI has got a kind of stamp kind of situation, haven't they? They've got to sign off on there are various forms that have to be filled in, like the bank guarantees that we've talked about with in relation to the Green Edge organisation and Jacob Elula. But I think there's another deadline. Is it the 13th, which would be later this week, which is when Intermarché and Lotto have to sort themselves out, I believe. So there's surely a point that at which we'll be talking about whether this team is going to make it into the World Tour and whether they just stay as a pro team. There also is money involved there. You don't have to have quite so much money guaranteed to be a pro team. And that also brings back into the conversation teams like Cofidis, because UNOX is guaranteed now, basically.
Yeah.
Brings back into picture Cofidis, and it's a very good it shows why Q36.5, and yes, they're still very likely going to remain a pro team. But all this bureaucracy that we're seeing happening, some of it very complicated and political, but it's such a wacky time of year, and it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks on paper.
The only real recourse, so all these deadlines are somewhat arbitrary. The UCI is just November.
But it is
13.
already almost mid-November.
Yeah, November 13 seems like a great day, and the only real sort of repercussions, like immediate repercussions for that, are the essentially the temporary nullification of contracts, right? So Johnny, you mentioned the fact that we know riders inside Sylvan Adams' World Tour team want to leave, right? I mean, Derek G is the obvious. Like he's already said he wants to leave. They're in they're lawyering up over there already, but there are others too. And if there is a deadline missed this week, for example, then that does sort of open up those contracts and allow riders to potentially
this withdrawal from Premier Tech will also nullify previous contracts that have been submissions to the UCI.
Yeah, surely. Exactly. So there is a fair amount that needs to happen within that team in the next couple days. Not to say that they can't get it all done, right? No. I mean, the thing is they've still got a billionaire funding them, right? Like pulling $5 million for a bank guarantee is not going to be difficult for Sylvan Adams. So, I kind of doubt that they would let that happen. And, like I said, we saw that internal message sent by, was it Carl? How do you say his last name?
Karlstrom, I think.
Karlstrom.
Yes, I think so.
There we go.
Kel. I think it's Kel. Not
Kel.
Not Carl Carlstrom.
Kel Karlstrom.
Yes. Yes, and the other. First of all, Derek G is now known as Derek G West. Derek G got married, so busy if Derek G, ticking a lot of boxes off the bucket list that I don't think many other people have. I wouldn't be surprised if Sylvan Adams tries to, or at least begin suing Premier Tech for some sort of breach of contract, if that's the case. I think there was a contract for next year. And what was the last thing? And apparently a lot of even the sort of top, highest profile riders in the team aren't aware of what the rebranding is actually going to be. So while there is talk of Rwanda and whatever, apparently even the main riders who are going to be wearing the kit have no inkling of what it's going to be.
They are
so
as sure of what they're going to be wearing as Pro Cycling Stats is what they're going to be called.
I can't believe they didn't do !hyphen.
I wish they
question
had.
Question mark.
What
that was
I
such
do
a
find,
missed
I mean, as a little sidebar, which is exactly what this is. It is interesting that they've bothered to do that, but I suppose it's the kind of context around it, because usually if a team is changing sponsors, we still see that there are a team that is guaranteed to exist for several years to come, or rather that have contracts that are sticking around until 2030, for instance. The team name doesn't change, even though there's an almost certainty that their name might change with new sponsors coming in. So it's quite interesting that Pro Cycling Stats have bothered to do this at all, and they've not just left it as is for the time being. But I don't know. I think hats off, really.
To return to the potential sort of legal ramifications of this, yes, I would absolutely assume that Sylvan Adams is going to chase that money. I actually would think that it's pretty likely. I mean, obviously we don't know exactly what those contracts look like. You don't know what kind of clauses were inserted into those.
True.
But it's pretty likely that Premier Tech actually is on the hook for this money, at least through the next year, right? So we might have a bit of a Rabobank and Blanco situation, right? If folks recall that. So Rabobank pulled out of sponsoring its team, but it was contracted for at least, I think it was another year or 18 months or something.
18 months, I think.
I think it was 18 months. And so it still had to pay, but it had basically decided that the sport itself, and this is back in 2010? Around then sometime. Yeah. It had decided that the sport was such that it didn't actually want to be associated with it. The whole sport of cycling. This is like, peak or the end of peak doping era, right? And so they're like, yeah, we'll give you the money. We just it's so bad we don't want our name on the kit. So then they raced as Blanco for a year. It's a great looking kit, actually, I thought.
Yeah, I loved it.
But yeah, we may end up with sort of a similar situation here, where Premier Tech is actually still paying for this team, whatever they're due for the next year. I don't know exactly what portion of the budget they were putting in, 10 or 15 million, probably something like that. They may still end up paying that and then just taking themselves off the kit.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a little bit between the lines in their in the news that kind of was coming out on Friday, and then rumours over the weekend, because our friend Dan Benson has, I mean, it looked a little bit scattergun, to be honest, because the number of teams that are potentially interested in a relationship with Premier Tech, the company,
all of them.
Numbers in about it's half the world tour basically.
I'm interested.
And Saint Michel, Aubin 93, the women's team. I think just the women's team, or maybe they're tied together, but because they've got 3 Canadians, including Alison Jackson. Anyway, the Premier Tech have said that they wouldn't be, or in all that, they wouldn't be a title sponsor anywhere. So maybe between the lines there is a little hint at the fact that yes, they are still, there is money that they're putting into cycling, and they can't be a bigger stakeholder in another team, even though they want to be involved in cycling in some way, shape, or form going forward. Maybe that's too much of a, that's probably making a pattern out of history. It's kind of
but I think it's pretty safe to say that they're not going to be allowed to walk away from that obligation.
No.
Right?
Especially given
there.
History, what we've seen with Derek G. West.
Yep.
I would be surprised if Premier Tech opted for Alison Jackson's. It's annoying because her Instagram is Action. It's just very.
Just call her AJ.
AJ, okay, fine. Then I'll get confused with the Sopranos. I would be surprised if Premier Tech switched from Team Israel to Team Racist Biscuits. Do we remember this?
God.
One of the few biscuit companies, I imagine, Saint Michel, who have a controversies tab on their Wikipedia because the company funded or was in some way associated with the last human zoo in France.
What?
In the mid-20th century.
I thought this rang a bell, and then it didn't.
This was a while ago, in their defense. But not as long ago as you might think.
Yeah. Well, and then even in the 90s, they made a fake village harking back for an advertising campaign, which was definitely very racist.
Definitely very bad.
So all I'm saying is, I'm ruling them out. It's not going to help sell more combine harvesters.
Right, names were being ruled out throughout the weekend. Including Alpecin de Koenig. And I felt sorry for Wheelerflitz because they put Alpecin de Koenig in their headline and then had to put it in the copy eventually. This has been debunked. Sorry. And obviously you can change your headline, but it's in the URL.
you've got someone high up at Premier Tech, which is a large company, who obviously likes cycling and wants to put money into cycling. So obviously every single team is going to send an email, be like, hey, we also have a bicycle team. that is slightly less controversial. Would you like to put your money over here? It's not the least bit surprising.
Ineos Premier Tech would be good because then the abbreviation would still be IPT.
Oh yeah. There's also been
That would
they've
just be
also been
confusing.
linked to Derek G West, so that makes a little bit of sense. Doesn't it?
It's a package
Yeah.
deal.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, we do. I struggle with this. I don't struggle with the story. I just we like sort of ongoing stories here at Spin Cycle, right? Like stuff that we can kind of come back to and watch, and like things, good for the pod, right? When
Especially
things are
this
good for the
time of
pod. Yeah, especially this time of year. This particular one, I kind of wish it would just get settled and kind of go away, so we could just stop talking about it. Because it's just it's
Because you tense up every time we start
It's not
talking.
fun. It's not a fun story. There's nothing fun
it's
about
not.
this
It's
story
not
at
fun.
all. And so we try to find angles on it that are interesting and maybe not. Fun isn't the right word, but at least entertaining. But we've struggled with this one. This one. If we could trade this for Juan Ayuso saying that...
Yeah, but variety's the spice of life, Kate.
It's
you have
true.
to do the hard... you have to eat your vegetables sometimes, and that's what the story is,
This is eating our podcast vegetables.
Peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what Kit alluded to earlier, jumping ahead of the script, was a message in Discord from M. Latch. I think that's how you pronounce it. He writes, the departure of Premier Tech means the absence of one of the only World Tour non-endemic sponsors to which I have any connection. They have a peat plant not far from where I live, and slicing into a bale of their seed starter mix in February always marked the start of my own vegetable growing season.
Oh, I like that stuff.
A nice story. There's the sort of positive spin you're looking for, Kaylee.
Yeah.
A game I would like to play, maybe an ongoing one, would be if people could message in or email in or whatever their best World Tour, let's say non-endemic sponsor connection. And then we'll build, and there'll be leaderboards for each sponsor. And you've got to make your pitch. And more tenuous, the better maybe, but also if it's you live next to a Premier Tech peat plant, then obviously...
That's good stuff.
Obviously you're zooming right up
That's
there,
going to smell interesting.
Yes.
But
I
anyway.
would assume so. Yeah. I don't know. I like the smell of peat, though.
Yeah, living in Scotland, I'm very familiar with the smell of peat.
Yeah. No such smells from around here. Everything just dries out and cracks and breaks. We don't get peat. There's no peat anywhere. I'm trying to think of... Yeah, so non-endemic, just to be clear, Johnny, you're saying no, cycling...
Yeah, I don't want to
you can't... We don't want your Trek stories.
No.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
No,
Yeah.
I want your Sudal stories. Maybe
Well,
even your
Alpecin even,
T-Rex
which is a bit
blue
boring, though.
stories.
Yeah.
Alpecin, yeah, we could have
It's a
a
bit
bald
obvious,
off
though. You'd be
between
quite
the,
low down
the audience.
the Alpecin. Wow. An audience test case.
Hopefully, no one lives near an Ineos plant because there was some news out the other day how the pollution from one of the new plants is going to do more damage to the local area than the jobs it's going to bring or something. Your Astana stories would be good.
Never been.
Never been.
There
Maybe
are
someone has been.
the Grenadier is popping up all over the place over here.
I get a lot of Grenadier
Yeah.
adjacent stories.
Yeah, I saw one the other day, I should have snapped a photo of it because it would have made Jim Ratcliffe so very angry. But it was a Grenadier, which is obviously those are made in France, right? They're not made in England, and had a big the license plate holder. You guys don't have license plate holders because your license plates are so wide. We have license plate holders, right? Go around the license plate, and it often says where you got the
Right.
vehicle or something else. You can get all sorts. This one was just a big French flag, all behind it, and I should have snapped a photo of it, sent it straight over to Big Jim.
Wonder how much that costs to get to the States.
I think you can just buy them here. I think
they have dealerships now.
Yeah, I think they have dealerships here. Yeah, because they're all over the place in some of the richer ski towns.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, which we are not, but
As
we're
we
trending that
discussed.
direction.
Uh-oh.
We are definitely trending that direction. All right, we've got 20 minutes of this chat already. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, crimes against the Belgian heartland. Welcome back, everybody. Crimes. Crimes against history, crimes against cycling. They're renaming Gent-Wevelgem. And
Why?
Wevelgem.
What is it
Uh,
and why?
Well, I don't know. This story is interesting. But it's very cycling, I think.
But the name is also terrible.
The
to
name
be
is
clear.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gent-Wevelgem. Let's just start off from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's a very good place to start. Gent-Wevelgem's already has a full name, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not ridiculous. It's great, but it's very long and ridiculous. Gent-Wevelgem in Flanders Fields. So
Fine.
they're changing the name now. I went back through the history of Gent-Wevelgem about 30 years, and I still
Wow.
couldn't find when they actually last started in Ghent. They have finished in Ghent in the past 20 years,
Okay.
but it has been held in Ypres for the past 6 years since 2020, which is not not exactly close to Ghent, but it's a lot. It's and it's a lot further away from where.
Will I get in trouble with the Europeans
Yeah,
again if
don't
I say that
say it.
everything is
Stop
like
it.
20 minutes away?
Yes. Stop it.
Well, Ypres is.
It's true, though.
Stop.
Yeah,
Just stop.
Ypres is the same distance away from the new start town of Middelkerk, or Middelkerke, maybe.
Our Flemish is poor, yeah.
Which is almost due north of Ypres.
Okay.
And on the coast, actually, where the European Championships cyclocross were this weekend. So there we have the cyclocross
So what's the new
shoehorned yeah, well, it's a long story for a long name. Okay, so it's going to be called In Flanders Fields from Middelkerk to Wevelgem. Now, depending on whether you look on the Instagram page or Flanders Classics own website, they haven't decided on what punctuation there's going to be, if any at all. So it's either full stop in Flanders Fields, full stop from Middelkerk to Wevelgem, which is a terrible
You
name.
can't put a full stop in the middle of your race team name
No.
or race name.
Or
are we
I
talking
mean,
about?
I've given them a colon because that makes most sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because it's yes. Anyway, so yeah, in Flanders Fields from Middelkerk to Wevelgem, and it
so
is
they're-
actually going to be from Middelkerk to Wevelgem, so it makes a little bit of sense.
Okay, so they're moving the In Flanders Fields to the beginning. Is that what that,
Yes.
they want us to call it that? They want us to call
Yes,
it
I think
In
they
Flanders
probably
Fields?
want it to be the adopted name that can
What-
outlive wherever the start and finish.
What is
towns
that
are.
in Flemish? Does it sound cooler in Flemish?
Well, interestingly, all so I saw the news first on Wielerflits, and I checked the translation. It's in English in the original as well.
oh,
Game's
really?
gone.
Game's gone.
That is terrible.
But it would be what would it be?
How do you, were you
don't
going to
ask
pluck that
me.
from your head?
I'm just trying to
The-
remember what it is. Its normal full, or its incumbent
Okay.
full name
Oh, I
is
see,
already
I see,
Gent-Wevelgem in
Yes.
Flanders Fields. So is it in Vlaanderen? It's in Vlaanderen something.
We can Google this.
I got you.
Oh, this is
Um,
great, huh?
In Vlaanderen Velden. In Vlaanderen Velden.
yeah, I should have known that. Velden
Yep.
Fields, yeah.
Could
yeah,
be wrong.
Vlaanderen.
Could be
I
wrong.
just this is one of the races where it doesn't really matter, right? It's just a brand name now. What they're trying to do
Yeah,
is trying
yeah.
to make everything sound Flandersy because they think that's what sells.
Yeah.
Maybe they're right, but also I don't know. Just annoying,
there's
isn't
been-
it?
there's
All
been
the
a
other
lot
things
of-
to be doing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of what's the word? I'm not doing very well today. There's been a lot
okay.
of uproar about the fact that it's moving from Ypres. It's only started in Ypres for the past 6 years, and yes. So, but the point is that Ypres is. So, if it's going to be called in Flanders Fields, it's obviously an allusion to the modern European history in that area. Flanders Fields being the site of the Great War. So, and Ypres there's the monument there, and it's it's absolutely central to a lot of that history. So it being in Ypres was a very meaningful and symbolic place for it to start. It did always visit the municipality of Middelkerk anyway. The fact that it's starting in Middelkerk might mean that Ypres actually gets to be seen a bit more in the race, because it will
Fair
probably will start in Middelkerk and it'll go to Ypres and then around the area of Ypres and then towards to Wevelgem.
So
It's just down
the-
from Ostend. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
the real
it's-
question here is like, what are we calling this race next year?
Well,
and
they
and
want-
what
they
and what are
want
the
to s- yeah,
what are
get
the
Wevelgem.
TV comics? So not we will call it whatever we want
Yes,
because
yes.
we bow to no master. However,
Well, apart from
the-
Joe Lindsay and his style guide.
apart from Joe
Oh.
Lindsay and his style guide, we do bow to Joe Lindsay and his style guide. But like the TV people,
Forcibly.
What are the TV?
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
it's
gonna
gonna
call
it's gonna be in Flanders Fields. That I'm sure of. I mean, the agreement that they've entered with the Middelkerk municipality is a 10-year one. So
Big
it's going to be
deals.
starting in Middelkerk, or possibly, I suppose, up the road in Ostend. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years. But the fact that they're putting it in Flanders Fields first, there's like, no, please, this is our new brand. This is what we're going for. And in all the graphics in Flanders Fields, you can picture the various graphics that they do for these races, right? In Flanders Fields is much bigger. Helps that the words are shorter than Middelkerk to Wevelgem. But it's clearly that is the focus. So, guys, it's in Flanders Fields. There we go.
The TV people will say whatever they're told to say. They're just mouthpieces for
and that was
this
Kaylee's
broken
question, so.
world we're in.
Yeah. Sometimes people ask me what I do for a living.
Sit in your camper fan and talk to your pals.
6 to 8 minutes on the municipality of Middelkerk and what they what they have done.
Can I extend it to 6.5 minutes? Because we may be laughing at Middelkerk, thinking it's an irrelevant, place.
It's not irrelevant.
Belgium.
It's a lovely place.
Well,
It
it's
is.
not now. After I've told you this, it became the world's first municipality in 1902 to have their drinking water disinfected by continuous chlorination, which doesn't sound
Golly.
that fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it
there you
hosted a very good championships this weekend. So hats off to Middelkerk, which I'm guessing is probably Middle Church. So there's something there.
We will call it Gent-Wevelgem until
they change
3
the
years from
location
now.
again.
Yeah, when we maybe finally come around. We're never calling it in Flanders Fields.
It's a little bit
unless
awkward,
we
isn't
can do so in Flemish, which sounds better. So if they're going to do it in English,
it, though?
absolutely not. Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
absolutely not in English. Come on, this is the heartland of spring classic cycling. We can do Flemish. That's fine. We're not talking about bits of Belgium that speak French. We're talking about the Flemish side. So we'll be calling it Gent-Wevelgem. I am intrigued to see what the TV folks
Well, the riders
do
will
call it.
absolutely definitely call it.
I
Gent-Wevelgem.
do think it's I know we say this sort of thing all the time, but like changing the names of races isn't good for cycling.
No.
It's just confusing.
What's
what
the
are we
Dauphiné
doing
being
here?
called now?
The Tour of the Auvergne-Rhône Alps or something.
Yeah, it's going to be called the Dauphiné. That's what we're going to call it. The problem is, then people are Googling it. They're like, I want to watch it on TV, and you're Googling it. And it's not
Or
called
we're
the
tagging it on the
Dauphiné.
website.
Yeah, it's not called the Dauphiné, unlike the Peacock calendar thing. Anyway, it's silly. Flanders Classics generally gets things like this right. I feel like they have like a good perspective on the sport and the sort of good connection between the history of the sport and like moving the sport forward. I would say that they are probably in my eye, the best of the race organizers on that front.
They know what they're doing.
But this one feels like a miss.
Middelkerk just have them in a vice, in a
They
bind.
do.
What do they know?
What do they know? Let's move on to our favorite
yes, here
race.
we go.
Our
Here we
favorite
go.
race of the whole. not the whole
Happy
season.
Saitama to all who celebrate.
Our favorite race of this week.
This week.
That wasn't
Of every
cyclocross.
week until January.
Yeah. The Saitama Criterium. I caught a few brief moments of replay on the internet of this. I caught the moment where Jonas Vingegaard viciously
Oh, it was terrifying. wasn't it?
attacked Primoz Roglic, who had forgotten to take the raincoat out of his back pocket.
No.
Didn't care at all.
He'll be
I
ruined.
think
now.
it was in leggings.
I mean, no wonder he got dropped, right? The aerodynamics of a raincoat in your back pocket are such that there's absolutely
The
no way he would
margins are
hang
so
on.
fine at the top level of the sport these days. Yeah.
The margins are so fine. So the Saitama Criterium, which to back up, we do need to talk about this what it actually is in case folks are here for the first time. If you found us during the tour or something, you've maybe never experienced the Saitama Criterium before. The Saitama Criterium is put on by ASO, which is the same company or same family, same entity that puts on the Tour de France, and it is fake. It is entirely fake. It is WWE cycling. It is professional wrestling cycling where there's a
Milan
script.
even turns up in his green jersey, and if
Yeah.
Pogacar was there, he'd be wearing yellow.
I mean, this isn't this is not intended to put down like the experience of the locals,
No,
right?
it's
Like
great.
they
You've
love
been
it.
there, Johnny,
I've-
right?
Yeah, Johnny.
I've been.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Everyone loves it. Everyone's having a good time. But it
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
But it is in the same way that you go to a professional wrestling event and everyone's having a good time, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it is fake. So we always enjoy seeing whomst among our media colleagues write these up like they're actual races.
Yeah.
Kit, I appreciated that you did the scare quotes
yeah.
everywhere. You got to do the scare quotes.
I couldn't not, otherwise I'd have to put myself on the naughty step.
Exactly. So this edition of the Saitama Criterium.
Would you like me to just give a rundown?
Yeah,
Please.
can we get a blow by blow, please?
Okay, a blow. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
Okay.
blah.
Well, first of all, it was a very small peloton. Very few riders had teammates.
Oh, that must have impacted it a bit.
But most, very notably, I don't know, it's just let me editorialize myself. Notably, Vingegaard managed to crash.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It looked like he maybe crashed himself, or at least he rode into
did, I
somebody's
think.
wheel. Yeah.
He was running up a ramp
yeah.
into the exhibition centre.
Yes. Yeah.
They go through, and I think it was a bit
off wet
slippery.
roads and onto
Yeah.
dry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was another wet, like the Singapore Criterium the weekend before. It was very wet, but yeah. So he was fine. Dusted himself off, which didn't take long because he was wearing body armor practically, given the weather. And then he got into a move with Roglic, Jonas Abramson, and Tim Wellens, two key players in the Tour de France, don't you know?
Legit. Yep.
And then poor Wellens and Abramson could not keep up with Roglic and Vingegaard on the 56-kilometre
Surprised, to be
race.
honest.
And then, as Kaylee has alluded to already, there was a vicious attack from Vingegaard, and quite close to the finish. Roglic was then caught by the peloton is a bit much, isn't
Yep.
it? But anyway, the group including Jonathan Milan and Caden Groves, two other stage winners from the Tour de France, but they could not catch one-day racer supreme Jonas Vingegaard, who celebrated a well-earned victory. And Milan came second, Groves came third.
Yeah. Someone was pointing out. Do you remember when Jonas's wife Trine was complaining about how much time? This was like during the tour or early on in the tour,
Yeah.
complaining about how much time Jonas has to spend away for like altitude camps and the actual functional parts of his job. Like a guy like Jonas who's earning 6 million euros or whatever a year, he can't be being paid that much by the Saitama Criterium that it makes a noticeable difference to his bank balance. And especially when he then goes and crashes the Saitama Criterium. Maybe we'll remember this perspective next time, we have one of these interviews. But
I'm not
Surely
sure
it's
they
a family holiday, though.
They would have. But he can afford a family holiday.
That's true.
I mean, Pogacar's not there.
No, it's an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
Pogacar's still trying to get his golden statue through the scanner at Dubai Airport. Do you want to see some scenes from the Saitama Criterium?
Let's do it. Let's see some
Shall
scenes.
okay, let me share. Let me
Well,
share
yeah,
my
we
screen.
should add also that it's not just a bike race. There are all sorts of activities.
They
do sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't see any sumo
you
wrestling
didn't
this
see
year.
sumo wrestling.
No.
First of all, we had no, I don't think so. I don't know why they don't do that anymore, but it's a shame. This is
I've
Primoz
got an
Roglic.
image of Chris Froome in a sumo outfit
Yes.
burned into my eyelids forever.
Yes, and that's maybe
horrible.
why they did it for public health reasons. This is Primoz Roglic doing reprising his old ski jump
Oh yeah.
celebration telemark thing. Thank you, at the behest of some fans, I believe.
He
Primoz
does
Roglic
look quite
looks like he's
weary
having a
about
nice
it, actually, doesn't he?
bit. I think he looks like he's actually genuinely having kind of a nice time doing it. I think he knows his number of telemarks left is whistling down. So he's
Well, he wants to go to the
enjoy them
Vuelta
all.
and win it again, so who knows?
We then move on to Jonas laughing almost maniacally
He looks like a vampire.
at basically, have you seen everyone's become,
the-
especially
the-
cycling events, have become obsessed with those games where the little batons
Reflexes.
drop and you have to grab them as like a reflex
Yeah.
game, and obviously
Yeah.
the cyclists are all quite bad at it, which is
Yeah, there's also that kind of
Maybe it's
hitting the
surprising.
lights on a wall thing.
but
I think it's
Jonas
been
is-
around for a long time, but it's now becoming a kind of
it's a
TikTok
cycling
game
now.
thing.
Yeah. And I think because it's the sort of game which means you have to watch the video for a long time, so it's better for the algorithm, all that nonsense. But Jonas has clearly never seen this before because he probably doesn't own a phone.
We know he
or
owns a
social
phone,
media or
Johnny.
whatever. Oh yeah, but like not a phone, like an actual like a Victorian dial-up phone or something. My favourite bit, I'll finish quickly, is the press conference where Vingo Roglic, Jonathan Milan, and Valentin Parapantra, I believe, wore these big hats, big top hats. Parapantra and Milan wearing ones of the French and Italian flags respectively, because that is the countries they hail from. But Parapantra looks a bit uneasy. Milan's having a great time. We cross over to Vingo and Roglic in yellow hats. I don't know why. No idea.
Well, one of them's got
You're
at least
muted.
a little bit reason for wearing yellow.
Why does Roglic get a yellow hat?
Yeah.
I don't know, but Roglic looks super concerned.
He's
Vingo's
having flashbacks to that helmet day.
Exactly. He's just you put a yellow hat on his head next to a guy who actually won the Tour de France, and he's just sitting there like, why are you reminding me of this?
Vingo even looks a little smug.
He's the last time he had a yellow hat on was on Planche de Belfi.
2020.
Yeah.
So that's the main takeaways from this thing. But I've been. It's a great event. The other photos and videos of all the autocross being signed, the fans getting to meet these guys. It's great. We should have more Saitama Criterium, not less.
And it's a great outreach kind of event. And it was nice. And Jordan Jegar went back to school and he looked slightly bewildered in a crowd of kids and with his bike and being patted on the back. But it's there isn't a great deal of high profile cycling in Asia, and it's part of the kind of, I mean, it's an exhibition, isn't it?
They also sell all their kit at the end, which is fun. Yep.
It's good.
All right. That's enough Saitama. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have some sort of Director Sportif musical chairs news and a missing beer. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Alan Piper is joining Red Bull. Good for Alan Piper. And Bernie Eisel, one of pro cycling's handsomest men, is joining Little Trek.
Yeah, if that's how you want to frame it, sure. A lot of upheaval at Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, which isn't surprising given I think on the whole they've struggled to perform.
Well, also they've got a superstar now, haven't they?
And they've got superstar Remco Evenepoel. Alan Piper obviously was involved with UAE Team Emirates, Tadej Pogacar, sort of fairly instrumental part of that. Will Alan Piper be able to do the same at Bora Hansgrohe Red Bull? Said it the other way around. I think the one thing lacking is Tadej Pogacar. If I had
there's also
take a guess.
It was a because he was he was heavily involved in Pogacar's development, wasn't he? I think one of the issues facing Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe is how can you make the fastest man on a time trial bike faster than he already is. That is that sort of thing. How can you? He wants to perform better in Grand Tours, but he's already developed, as it were. I don't know. They've experimented with some things. It's going to take it's a much bigger challenge than developing a whippersnapper from Slovenia at the age of 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that they can't do it and that there isn't more development that Evenepoel can do, but he is aging out of the white jersey competition. He's now a fully fledged grown up, it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting challenge to see them face and how much they can actually do.
I like Piper a lot.
Yeah,
I like Alan Piper a lot. He's gone through a whole raft of cancer-related health issues. Was diagnosed with prostate cancer 10, 11 years ago, I think it was. And by the time they caught it, it had already spread, and so he dealt with that for the better part of a decade.
He stepped away from the sport a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, kind of coming and going from the sport, and to see him just fully back, and he's been with UAE previously, and now with Red Bull. I think that it's just really good to see him back because he's just known in the sport as a he's just very good at what he does. People really like him.
He's combining being good at what you do with actually being a nice, decent,
human being
person.
long-time listeners will remember that I used to make this podcast with Rupert Guinness for a long time, he's good friends with Alan, and so I've luckily gotten to spend a little bit of time with him. So more than anything, I just wanted to say, like, it's good to see him really back. Like, he's been sort of working his way back into the sport, and he's talked quite candidly about the sort of like losing your place in your community and in your profession due to cancer, because he had to step away from the sport for so long, and coming back into that can be really difficult. Coming back and finding work again can be really difficult. The sport moves quickly, and there's always new folks entering. So yeah, more than anything, I just want to say it's good to see him back in a big role. And I do think that Red Bull is a place that needs him. As you alluded to, they just slightly underperformed for the last couple of years, and I do think that he is potentially the guy to.
Well, and also
around.
it's not just Remco, is it? There's also Florian Lipowitz, who he really could take under his wing, and there is a lot of development that could be done. So there's a lot of good that he can do there.
Well, and Piper's known for his really good man management, and so I think that given that team and given the aspirations of that team and the fact that they are probably not done buying big names and they're just going to keep packing them in as best they can, having somebody who's really good at managing those relationships and managing those potential conflicts, I think, is something that's really necessary, and so makes a ton of sense from my perspective. Bernie Eisel joining Trek. We like Bernie as well. But
not only have we got Ayuso and Scamoso, who are, Ayuso's the incoming big GC talent, and Scamoso would like to be the big GC talent. But they've also got now this big GC talent and Mads Pedersen, who only a few months ago signed a lifetime contract with Trek. And of course, there's also Jonathan Milan. So there's a lot of man management that's happened there. I think Bernie Eisel's probably going to have a big role in helping Pedersen and Jonathan Milan in the classics, and they've got bigger problems than themselves in the Alpecin boys and Pogačar, but Pedersen has come closest. So to have Bernie Eisel, who is very experienced in that regard, he also I think he, in a similar way to Alan Piper, he's good at keeping a group together. He's good at leading a train. He was road captain. He was heavily involved in sprints. So he's probably a good man manager too. Probably good at kind of keeping the team together. So yeah, it's an interesting move. He seemed like he was firmly embedded in Red Bull Bora-Hansgrohe though. So that looked curious to me. But yeah, it makes sense to me that he's going to Little Trek. Make
a little jump. Yeah.
While we rightly talk about all this, not necessarily tension, but like the competition between riders within Little Trek. I think what Little Trek have to focus on, now that they're a big budget team, right? They're one of the biggest budgets in the sport.
Yep.
They got to start winning some big things.
Yep.
I think partly because of their brand, and I guess we know a few of them within it. They maybe get off a bit lightly compared to other teams, but I think 2026, I'm gonna call it a make or break year for Little Trek. I need to see some, I don't just want a series of Mads Pedersen, Jonathan Milan, Giro Tour stages to justify the existence of the team. I want to see some proper,
that they're going to need a stick. They need a stick in the back pocket for every rider who has to face Mathieu van der Poel or Tadej Pogačar and do a breaking away. Because that's kind of the only way to win in some places.
Yeah. I think
that's true.
I think part of the reason we give them a long leash is because we see them try, right? Like it's very obvious they're trying. Whereas I think Red Bull for the last year and a half, sometimes it's not obvious they're trying. Sometimes you're like, where did Red Bull go? And Trek is, particularly in the spring, particularly with Pedersen and now with Milan, they're always there, right? They're always there, and they are always trying. They're always, like they know that they need to beat Van der Poel and Pogačar, and they know that they cannot just wait around for that to happen, right? I think that's why we give them a fair amount of leash. I personally,
I think they've got to figure it out though.
They got to figure it out.
Got to figure it out.
Yeah.
For my own sanity and the sport's sanity as much as anything else.
Yes. I do appreciate that both of these individuals we're talking about, Alan Piper and Bernie Eisel, are extremely helpful in the storytelling of the sport. They're both very available to reporters, and that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Is I didn't actually see Eisel all that often with Red Bull last year, but I'm expecting to see him at more races this year, and he's always a great quote, and like kind of willing to pull back the curtain a little bit more than some others. So from a purely sort of media perspective, reporting perspective, I think Eisel to Trek in particular, it should improve our ability to talk about that team, which is always
So, Bernie, how is When I Say gelling with the squad?
They hate each other.
You might say that as a joke, and that would be funny.
Yeah, and then we can put it out as a joke, and then everybody else can pick up on it as
That'd be great.
Absolute truth.
All right, let's move on to today's biggest story, the missing beer of Telenet Super Prestige. So we're actually not sure this. We're not sure this is true. Is this true?
Supposedly.
See, I think it's true because nobody's tried to make a joke about 0% air in the deflated 0% beer.
I think you're expecting too much
inflation.
of our industry and colleagues' kit.
Well, I'm just a bit miffed that I'm not smart enough to come up with a better joke about it being a 0% beer inflatable.
I'll tell you what I've been thrown by
gone missing.
is that there's this post that we just saw on Instagram of the big inflatable beer by the side of the Telenet Super Prestige cyclocross races, asking whether anyone's seen this with or without air, which to me is very sort of Dutch-Belgian coded as like an attempt at humour. But then what gives me sort of pause for thought is the fact that neither of the brave boys at Wielerflits or Het Nieuwsblad have written up this story. And especially in the cold, dark winter months, they are scrabbling around for a Mathieu van der Poel holiday or a Greg van Avermaet Instagram post to conjure up for the page views that day. And they've not touched this one with the barge pole.
Yep.
So
are we missing
what's
something?
Spooking me a bit. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm missing. I can't tell what I'm missing just by the information available to me.
We need some of our Dutch and or Belgian listeners out there to explain this to us if we are missing something.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a joke? Is it real? Did someone steal the giant inflatable beer?
Maybe we should get in contact with the municipality of Middelkerk to kill two birds with one stone.
Can we do
Hopefully the chlorinated water hasn't gone to their heads.
Can we do another 10 minutes of municipality of Middelkerk? I think that would be great.
Okay, would you like me to talk about cyclocross?
No.
No, I'm all right, thanks. What about another feature is during the Spring Classics, we choose a Belgian municipality and we will have to bring one fact about it to the show.
So you can sponsor it.
Yeah, that could
great.
be
A fact about... Yeah, that sounds... A lot of it will be quite... Should we steer clear of the years between 1914 and 18?
No, I think it's important to flash out collaborations. Maybe we'll cut that, maybe not. But yes, the beer's missing. I know, I guess the collaboration was Second World War, wasn't it? Anyway, should we move on to a less controversial topic, which I can barely bring myself to say? Bike sponsors are switching around.
Carousel, yeah.
The huge news is that Total Energies are now going to be riding Cube bikes, which I nearly fell out my seat when I heard that one. Maybe slightly more interestingly, Santiago Buitrago, Bahrain Victorious, has been spotted riding Bianchis about when they are well, obviously used to be Bahrain Merida.
Yeah, they've been with Merida for 9 years.
One short of the decade, and they're chucking them out.
Well,
and Bianchi is adrift after the Archaea B&B situation.
That's what I was going to say. But they also never really got on that well because they kept breaking their bikes and stuff and then blaming Bianchi. The whole thing.
Weird how that team had to die, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, though, because, I mean, Bahrain Victorious is the only team in the peloton with any Celeste on their kit.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your tech news for the day.
Business aesthetic friendly Bahrain. Maybe we should ask their riders about the Celeste at team camps in January.
I think it would be very fun to make you two and like Dane just drop the three of you into a geek warning. Like give the same run sheet. Just like take the run sheet that Dave and Co would have talked about, and then make you three talk about it.
See, I want to go on Geek Warning just so that they can teach me how to fix my bike because I can't afford a service.
I've been on Geek Warning.
I know.
I'm a man of many Escape Collected podcasts. But yeah, they'll be riding different bikes. I do not give a monkeys, to be honest. They're all bikes at the end of the day, aren't they? I mean, when I ask Ronan which bike is best, he can't even answer me that. So until he can tell me that, then I don't care.
Oh, he can answer it. It's just going to take like 6 hours and charts and graphs and all sorts of things. We run a story every year of sort of like the great sponsor merry-go-round thing, right? And because there's a fair amount of movement. There's always a fair amount of movement. And while Johnny and Kit might not care,
yeah, leave it to the adults.
People do care.
Yeah.
Some people do care. Yeah. The fact that Bianchi's sticking it out in the World Tour is actually the most surprising thing to me after they've been battered by their relationship with Arkea Samsic. But, Bahrain is much more likely, I think, to toe the line on the PR and the optics on many issues.
Many such issues.
Yeah. I just think that they're less... and I'd say this tongue-in-cheek, but also quite seriously, like, they are less likely to just chuck shade at their bike sponsor for kind of, not no reason, but not entirely necessarily, which is what Arkea and its riders were doing for quite some time.
Do you think do you think it's a get out of jail excuse for Bahrain, who won 8 races last year, which had flown under my radar?
They didn't have a good one.
That was not great.
Are we already calling 2025 last year?
Yeah, it's last season now.
Last season, sorry.
Saitama Criterium has happened, Kit.
Okay, fine.
That's the official end of 2025.
It's like school calendars, which I've only just ejected from my brain at the age of 33, where the year begins in September.
And you start writing the wrong year in it, and it makes a whole big mess. Let's get to After Dark, shall we?
Yeah. Is the bit you highlighted for After Dark?
Yeah, it's not that interesting. I mean, we could also talk about how modern adventure cycling, the name that rolls off the tongue, the new American Hincapie team, is launching. It's got Leo Hayter in it, I like that bit about it.
Yeah, I like that Mark Stewart's made the cut as well.
Yeah, like there are some nice individual stories, but at the same time, I don't really want to get all het up about a Hincapie team. Just my personal vibe.
It depends. I'm going to chat with Alex Howes a bit more about that soon. He and I have been trying to connect, talk through it a little bit. Maybe we'll drop a bit out into the pod. We'll see.
Look, we can't be too picky because that's how we end up with UAE and question mark.
That's true. All right, let's cut it off there. We're gonna head in after dark. We have NFL Gamer Gator guy. We have a media nonsense. This isn't quite black book territory. It's just media nonsense. And we should I feel like media nonsense should be an ongoing segment.
It'd be good, yeah.
Okay. When we just spot something, we're like, God damn it, stop it, people. We'll bring it up in media nonsense, which is what we've got for you in After Dark today. We also have. Wait. No, we don't have an update on crime. That's from last week.
No. Although we did have someone geo-guess the bike shop I went to with very few details.
Well, somebody guessed what part of Edinburgh I live in, so that's not that much of a surprise.
It's honestly, I think we lead a fairly private podcast here where we mostly keep it talking about cycling, but somehow everyone's got my national insurance number or some such case.
I have received on Instagram direct messages with like Google Street View things, and with the question, "Is this the meth camper?"
Oh my god! Well, that's more worrying because you've got a young family.
That's not cool.
Jeez.
Wow. And I say no.
Kaylee, it's because you live in such a tiny but diddly boing, town, whereas Europe and its expansive megacities,
it's true.
The anonymity.
It would be harder to find me. Yeah, no, not too. Although there are lots of campers in yards in Durango. All right, let's cut it off there. We're heading into After Dark. If you're not a member, what are you doing with your life? Head to escapecollective.com/join. Sign up now. Get all the good stuff, and get After Dark, which is where we're headed.